Hello everybody, it's Carolyn here with the Hillside Market. Today I wanted to talk to you guys a bit about soil blocking. Now, what is soil blocking? So soil blocking is a form of seed starting, and I actually personally use this for starting my seeds inside. So soil blocking is taking a mixture of soil and water and compressing them into a cube using a soil blocker or a soil block maker, and this will get pressed onto a tray, and it will have a little divot on the top of each block where you'll place the seeds, and the seeds will grow in the blocks indoors on your trays under grow lights. Now, why would somebody choose to do soil blocking or to even start seeds indoors, period? There's a lot of reasons, but some of the reasons include extending your growing season. So for example, I'm in zone 3, and because I'm in zone 3, I'm already very limited on the amount of growing days I have in a season. So some of these seeds that I am growing, or some of these plants that I'm growing in my garden, like for example, eucalyptus, I wouldn't normally be able to grow without starting them indoors. For example, eucalyptus plants get started here in my basement 12 weeks before my last frost date. So soil blocking and indoor seed starting allows me to grow eucalyptus and various other plants that wouldn't necessarily thrive in my growing zone. Another reason somebody might choose to start their seeds indoors using soil blocking or other methods would be simply to give your crop a jump start. So for example, let's say you are growing flowers for business and you want flowers earlier in the season. You could choose to start something like zinnias indoors so that you'll have flowers earlier in the season for your customers. By starting your seeds indoors, you are also overall increasing your growing season, and by doing so, you can also increase your window for succession planting. So again, it leads you into having flowers for or whichever crop for a longer period of time. Everybody uses a little bit of a different soil blocking mixture. If you Google soil block recipes, you will find plenty. And even myself, when I was doing this research last year, I found a few base kind of recipes to go off of, and I also tweaked them to kind of fit my needs. So you may find that you have to do the same thing as well. My recipe includes just a high quality potting soil, worm castings, green sand, rock phosphate, vermiculite, and then I fertilize once weekly. Once my little seedlings are coming along, I fertilize once weekly using a Biofish liquid plant fertilizer. I am going to touch more on soil blocking and like the soil block recipes and actually making the soil blocks in some future videos. So if you are interested in learning more about soil blocking overall, be sure to hit subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram too, where I'll post updates on when I release new YouTube videos. So there are many reasons why a grower might choose to use soil blocks, but there are obviously pros and cons. So some of the pros include that it is an extremely good way to save space. So this soil block here, this will hold 20 little seedling plants. And I grow my soil blocks I put my soil blocks on cafeteria trays. And one cafeteria tray with the mini soil block maker will hold 240 plants. And then there's also a 2-inch size soil blocker and a 1.5-inch size soil blocker too. This is the 2-inch, and the trays will hold 24 of these 2-inch blocks. So very good way to save space. Another reason is that you get generally healthier roots because of aerial root trimming. So your roots won't circulate they won't grow around and get constricted in a pot, whereas in a soil block, the air will naturally trim the roots because the roots won't grow outside of the soil block. So when you place that soil block in the soil, the roots aren't root bound and they actually just immediately start growing into the ground around them. So very, very good advantage to soil blocking in regards to the healthier roots. There's generally less transplant shock because of this. It's also faster transplanting because you take your soil blocks and you just rip them off and pop them in the dirt. Very nice. And also just generally less plastic use, which is a huge bonus, of course. Some of the cons of soil blocking is that they dry out fast. Those mini soil blocks I have to water up to 2 times a day. We have underslab heat here in my basement, so it's especially warm down here. And if you are using heating mats at all, then they dry out, so you do definitely have to water twice a day. The startup cost is a little bit higher too, because you need to buy the soil blocks, and you might want to set up a grow shelf and my grow lights and whatnot, so there's a bit more of an investment off the top. You can also have a problem with mold because you do have to water so often and keep your soil blocks moist, but an easy way to treat the mold is to just dust your blocks with cinnamon. That does help. Some crops, if you start in soil blocks, you may also find that you have to pot up, like for example tomatoes. If I start them in a soil block, I still have to pot them up indoors before they go outside. So you're not necessarily saving time in that situation. And then I guess the last thing I would say that is a disadvantage in my opinion is the fact that it can be a bit overwhelming to find a soil blocking recipe, especially because, as I said, there's so many recipes out there. My suggestion to you is to just pick one that you can find the ingredients for, stick to it, give it a shot, and then once you're into soil blocking, you'll adjust it from there based on your needs. So that's about it for soil blocking today. I am planning to continue touching on soil blocking, and I want to take you guys along with me during my growing season this year. I have seeds coming in the next couple of weeks, so I will be starting to grow indoors in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and during that time I will be taking the time to record and post on YouTube for you guys to learn from and hopefully find inspiration from and give it a try yourself. If you're interested at all, I'll include the link down below in the description to my Amazon storefront where you can find what I use for soil blocking equipment and tools, I guess, and my soil blocking mixture. If you have any questions, send them in the comments. Follow me on Instagram. Be sure to hit subscribe so you can stay up to date and watch my future YouTube videos. Thanks for being here, guys. Until next time.